what? My name is Arthur Robinson Jr. I'm the creator and host of Powerful Interviews podcast, along with successful entrepreneur co-host Jordan Phillip. And we have phenomenal Mario. And Mario, he actually is in the same space I am. We're interviewing successful people all over the world and then publishing that content on social media sites. And also, he is a phenomenal podcaster. And he invited me on his platform, and I provided value to his audience. And that was actually back in January. And I reached out to Mario, and we was brainstorming a little bit before he actually came on this platform. And I asked him, could he do me a favor? And now he's here. So we just have an interesting dialogue and an interesting conversation about business, podcasting, and basically the spaces that we are dominating in.
Definitely. Welcome, Mario. Already, Mario's been dropping valuable content, before we can even get his introduction in. But welcome, Mario. Thank you for joining us.
It's a great day to be alive, and I'm excited to share with your audience.
Definitely.
Mario, I know what you do. I mean, you are a thorough individual. But for the people that don't know who Mario is, explain to the audience, who is Mario and what do you specialize in?
Well, that's a loaded question. It's a great question, but it's a loaded one because Mario is still under development. We're on version 35.3 right now. And, it's a work in progress. But basically, in a nutshell, I love helping people, serving them, and I've always had a knack for it. You have a problem. I like to find the solution. And what's the quickest and fastest way to do it? Now, when you add the business side of things into it, what's the most profitable way to do it? Because it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. But I've always liked helping people. Even in school, even before I started my businesses, even though I started my first one at 12, I started this one at 18. I just liked doing it. Whether I got paid for it or not, I would still be helping people. But I'm thankful I get to do what I do because I do get paid for it.
Wow. Explain to the audience, Mario, what is the best advice that you have ever received?
The best advice I'd ever received, I would probably say, is be nice to people, because you never know, everybody is somebody's someone. And you never know who you're going to cross paths with. And I've fallen, not victim, but I've fallen culprit. I've made bad mistakes in the past where I'm going, it's someone you don't act like I acted like I didn't want to talk to them, maybe because of something they said or how they looked or how whatever. And it turns out maybe they're just trying to be low key. Now, I'm not talking about people who are mean and, take advantage of people, but there's some people you look and just from across the room, and it's like, meh, whatever. And then you turn out and you see them speaking on stage or something. You're like, holy smokes, they've actually done something. And for me growing up, it resonates with me because I was always the shy one. I always got picked on. I always, just the way people perceive me now and the way I was growing up till about 9th and a half grade, maybe 10th, were vastly different. And that's why I like now letting people know they can shine, because I feel so many people have a voice and a message. And to your earlier question, what do I specialize in? It's really getting people to share their voice and share their story. And I teach them how to package and, pitch it as a business, because so many people have gifts, talents, abilities, and a level of expertise, but they don't know how to get it out there with a book. They don't know how to do it on video. They don't know how to do it with their own show. And so many people are gifted, but they're just afraid, the same way I was. And since I overcame that, I can tell people now it's not that difficult. Don't play small. The world isn't better off for it. The world needs your message, and it's your time to shine. But where do you start? What are the next steps? What does it entail? That's where people get stopped. It's not that they hit a mountain, halfway through the process. It's most people get stopped when they go to start.
That's powerful, the way that you explained that right there. And just off of that, I noticed that you're an extremely detail-oriented person. I mean, when you said version 35.3 of yourself and, ninth and a half grade, I could tell that you pay attention to, details. And is that something that you just kind of naturally were born with, or is that a skill that you kind of, or something that you developed over time? And if so, how did you come about, with that?
So I have to correct myself because I realized my birthday was last month. So this might be 35.1, but I thought it's because we're in a new year or whatever. But the point is, I've always been detailed. I've always been logical and analytical. I never used to like it. I actually hate it. Because if you ask me, like, we're all hanging out here, we're having a good time. If we were all at dinner, if we're, by the pool, if we're on the boat, I would much rather be doing that and just having a casual conversation. I'm not really a detail guy. However, I've trained myself to be, looking for that, what's the word? Not impartial, imperative, that with details, like with success stories, with case studies, the details, empirical, that's the word. When it comes to business, there's a lot of people going, I can help you, I can help you. But when you can prove it, done deal. So I've trained myself to go, here's my real strength is people and relationships and connecting. However, you can't just go up to someone and be like, okay, what are we going to pay you for? And it's like, well, I'm a magician. I'm going to turn thin air into something for you. Oh, great. Sign me up. That's a hard sell. You need to be able to prove it. So I also wanted to be an attorney at one point. And so I look at things like a court case. If we're on the trial of your life, how much evidence do you have stacked up so that there's no doubt in your mind we're going to win?
Wow.
That's powerful. Right?
Earlier you said that you train people in regards to getting a message out. So facts tell, but stories always sell?
For sure. For sure. Everyone wants to connect on a human emotional level. There's too many people out there nowadays just going, look at me, look at me. The greatest thing we have is the internet and the ability to broadcast your voice, broadcast video. I mean, literally, we have broadcast studios wherever you are in your pocket. The downside to that is everyone thinks just because they have a phone, they're a broadcaster. They don't come up with the right costume. They don't know how to speak. They don't know how to present the information. It still goes back to the messaging. There's people who have been in industry for decades and decades who are still refining their craft because it used to take $100,000 an episode or $1 million an episode to produce something. Do you think they're going to let amateurs on the playground? No, they hire the professionals. So there's a lot more amateurs out there, which is great I tell people, take imperfect action every day. Get started, do something. But please don't get confused that just because you have an iPhone or an Android or whatever, just because you have a phone means you deserve, 1 million people in the audience. You got to work for it. It's not easy. You got to be consistent with it. But it is, look me in the eye right now and listen to my voice. It is 100% possible. So do not give up and keep going, but don't get confused. Just because you started means you're going to end up, a millionaire overnight.
That's strong right there. And here's one thing which even I can point to myself that, is I've been struggling with a lot is, starting things, but how do you, when you approach something, do you set like a system to, follow through on things that you start? And, if you're starting something and see a little bit of progress, what is it that makes you follow through? Even like on your podcast now, you're doing, massive actions on that. What kind of systems do you put in place to make sure that you make the progress that you're really kind of aiming for?
So I got two takes on that. One of them is let go and let God. Too many people are worried about the details. First and foremost, you're not going to be able to figure everything out. With that being said, yeah, set some goals so you at least have something to track, but don't get so bent out of shape. I was doing some stuff even earlier today in my CRM and, am I on track for my goals and this and that? I have one set for how many yeses of people I want on the show per week. And, it just gives me a guide. But, if you book, let's say you want 15 people a week. If you book 13, did you really have a bad week? Are you going to, be all downtrodden because you're too short and like let your weekend get ruined about it? No, because maybe one of those people you connect with is the person that you've been praying for and God just dropped in your life, and maybe you're supposed to spend more time with them because it's going to lead to bigger things. If you get so caught up in the numbers and forget that they're people and lives you're affecting, that's where it's problematic. However, I'm also not saying to just throw a flower in the air, count the petals as they're floating down, and hope for the best. You have to be strategic with it, but at the same time, relax and enjoy the journey, because it's going to take 1,001 different turns that you can't predict. And if you're too focused and you're not open to it and you're not present, you're going to miss all the blessings that are helping.
Wow.
Strong.
That's a powerful statement, Mario. Now, I'll tell my listeners as well as don't get caught up with the details. It's a powerful statement with know of versus know how. And a lot of people, they get caught up with, I gotta, put together systems and I gotta do it from A to Z. And when you get caught up with the details, you basically going to remain stagnant because you're not going to move forward with taking yourself to the next level in terms of focus on your skill sets and take those skill sets to the next level. And if you can delegate, you can delegate. But even when you delegate, you got to delegate to the right people that's going to get those tasks done. So I always tell people, don't get caught up in the details. Just focus on your skill sets and then enhance those skill sets to the next level. And once you do that, people will resonate with that and they'll say, you know what, I want to be connected to that energy. Mario, what do you suggest for entrepreneurs and business owners to develop their own energy and then publish that energy to the universe on the social media sites worldwide?
Figure out who you are and what you want to represent. Once you get real with yourself, it's easy to decide, here's what I want to cut out, here's what I want to keep. I think a lot of people out there, including myself in the past, like I said, version, maybe 22, whatever through 27, everyone wants to go, look at me. And that's fine, because it's not fine. Let me back up. It's not fine, because the psychology behind it is look at me is I'm craving attention in one way, shape, or form because I'm not fulfilled in another. I don't think most people are doing it just to be vain. I think a lot of them want to make a difference, but they don't know how to start. Someone might disagree with me, but that's my experience. They want to make an impact, so they're putting stuff out there for step one, which is attention. You have to get attention. But you have to, once you know who you are, it's so easy to say no to stuff and yes to other things. If I was saying yes to everyone, there's no way I would have had to say no to this because I'm so booked up and I'm so busy. I think so many people are trying to be busy, and I believe that's being under Satan's yoke. They are never really productive. There's a difference there. There's a huge difference there. We all have 24 hours in a day, 168 hours in a week, but what are you doing with it? You want to know one of my secrets?
Definitely.
Tell us. Share with us. Share with me and the audience. What is your secret?
Have enough free time to be able to think about your next move and don't just be on the hamster wheel moving forward. I build in gaps of time for opportunities to come into my life. So when people say, hey, can you do this? Yeah, I'm not so strapped for time. I have 1 hour a week, Saturday at 11 at night to midnight. I build in time. Even with all the interviews, I block off. If I have 3 interviews scheduled at 3, 4, 5, I take off from 6 to 7 so I can be present with family and friends and grab dinner. But then I come back 7, 8, 9, and that's my actual schedule right now. And not all the time they're booked. But here's the other thing. Wow, that's crazy. You're booked up. Well, I intentionally left the 6 o'clock open for dinner, family, and friends, and, to calm the heck down. But the other thing is the 3 to 4 booking. That also has 10 to 15 minutes of technical prep. And I still built in on a micro level time within that hour for stuff to flat out go wrong and still be able to continue and not have it jack up the schedule. How many times do people book from 3 to 4, take 59 minutes, and if one thing goes off by 2 minutes, like the spaceship, unless you're launching a NASA spaceship, you might need it down to the second in the minute. But why people intentionally put that into their calendar, I have no reason why. If you're doing hour coaching calls, make them 45 minutes. No one's going to care. And if you can't make your point in 59 minutes, if you can't make your point in 45 minutes, you're not going to be able to make it in 59 any more clear. Think of TEDx talks. You don't need a full hour. It's not about the hour. It's about the value you bring to it. I believe that's from what, Jim Rohn, or Tony Robbins. Just think about stuff differently. Don't mimic everyone else. They're probably doing it wrong too.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense right there. Definitely. And that's where a lot of people, including myself, are not as focused on the details. And I think that information right there, I know I can learn a lot from that. And, another thing kind of to shift gears, Mario, that, I was talking to a buddy of mine actually yesterday, just about how, the importance of a man's personal appearance. A lot of times we tend to overlook it. You look like you know what you're doing as far as presenting yourself, to the world. And what have you done to, make that progress? And at the same time, at what point in your life did you notice that? And does the world respond to you differently, when you're dressed a certain way and kind of, carry yourself a certain way? What type of experience have you had in life where you kind of noticed that shift? And what was that like, experiencing that?
I would say it's just a conscious effort. I mean, I've never claimed to have the fanciest clothes or I've never claimed to have the most expensive clothes. And the irony is, I know people that spend way more on, a name brand shirt, a name brand. I can't wrap my head around spending $200 on designer jeans. Like, they're still jeans at the end of the day. You can get, that's a whole other thing. But my point is, when people are going, wow, that's so fancy, it's just a conscious decision. You got to wear clothes either way. It's just going, do I want to buy them from here or here? And then, okay, so I hear people going, yeah, I agree with you, and I get a lot of compliments going, wow, people don't dress like that anymore. You want to stand out and get more attention? This isn't like a marketing thing. I just like to be presentable and dress nice because, again, to the point of opportunity. If you have an opportunity to go to a fancy dinner this evening, and this has happened to me before, I was doing business throughout the day, and in the moment, someone goes, hey, there's this thing going on later tonight. Would you want to go? Well, I didn't have time to get back here. You know what I mean? It's like, unless you're prepared for it, I go, absolutely. So within an hour and a half, I got invited to this extra thing from someone I had just met 10 minutes prior because they probably recognized I was ready to go. So if you're prepared, it will open more doors. I just always liked it. For the longest time, yeah, these type of clothes are more expensive. And frankly, I didn't have the money. But I did everything I could, the best I could of where I was at. And I go, you know what? I'll never forget this because I went to go speak in San Diego years ago. And I remember going into the tailor and just going, it was a very good year financially, I'll say that. And I went in there to get, I think, 2 dress shirts, and I walked out with 7 custom shirts, 2 suits, shoes, belts, whatever the case was. But I was ready to go on stage, and you know what I mean? People started recognizing me for that, but it was essentially just a dream of mine to be able to do that. Now, because of that, when I get dressed, I just grab shirt A versus shirt B. That's it. And for the people that are going, well, I wouldn't want to be dressed up all the time, it's uncomfortable. It's because you're buying cheap stuff that's not fitted to you. Men, get a shirt that's 2 sizes big, have them cut it so it perfectly fits around your neckline, and it gives you extra room, but it still looks crispy. You don't need to buy it the size you need, off the shelf. Get it bigger. And every single one of mine are all custom fit to me. And I tell them I want the suit jackets a little bit shorter so you can see the sleeve. And then I say, I want it here. And I tell them I don't like being uncomfortable. I'm more comfortable in this stuff than most just casual clothes because it's fitted to me. And it's not going to cost you $500 extra per outfit just to do that. All you got to do is get it, you know, that's one of the tricks I do with the shirt. Get them bigger and then have the sleeve slit so it's not sloppy looking. The waistline I have chopped off a hand length, so that way when I'm doing business through the day and they say let's go to dinner and we get relax afterwards, I can untuck the shirt and it's not like a tablecloth down to my knees. You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Yeah, you can't wear them untucked. Usually the ones, yeah, I tried it. It's at below my knees.
And it's uncomfortable to wear throughout the day. When you get it, when you're, again, it's just about being intentional. Write down what you want. You know, at one point it was, I would love to speak on stage, impact thousands of lives, and then have a nice dinner and relax by the pool. Well, what does that entail? I didn't want to have to do 14 costume changes throughout the day. But I go, how can I make this work? I go, oh, I'll just plan it like this. I'll start here, tucked in professional, and slowly loosen stuff off. I can drop the vest, undo the sleeves. Bam, I'm ready to go, and I don't need to disappear for an hour and a half at an event where I might miss the opportunity to meet someone.
That's insider info right there. That's really insider info.
I totally
and
agree with
work.
you, Mario. Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. And I think when it comes to people in the professional speaking industry, now the professional speaking industry, that's a $780 billion industry. So it's huge right now. And I think when it comes to professional speakers, I think the game is pretty much shifting right now where event coordinators and event planners, they just looking at, can you bring value to my tribe or to my audience? And whether you like dressing in a suit, or you like dressing in, you know, just regular casual gear or, you know, just urban gear, I think they're just looking at, can you really deliver the value? And the people that come to the event, the way they came in is not the way they're going to leave out. Like, for example, I interviewed a very successful entrepreneur. He's a professional speaker. And he was just regular. He was just dressed up in casual clothes, T-shirt, you know, jeans, and that's it. And another gentleman was dressed up to the T. He had a pinstripe suit on. Well, he asked the gentleman that I interviewed that had just regular jeans on and a T-shirt. He said, he was like, you gonna speak tonight? And he said, yeah, I'm gonna speak tonight. And he was dressed up to the T. And he was like, well, are you speaking for free? Now, the gentleman that was dressed up in a suit was speaking for free. But this gentleman that I interviewed just had a regular shirt on, casual jeans on. It was paying him $25,000 to speak. And the gentleman in the suit said, well, wait a minute, how are you getting a $25,000 speaking fee? And here it is, I'm about to go on stage and I'm not even getting a speaking fee. And he said, well, that's the difference, because I think differently. I know how to get to the money. I know how I can get to the event coordinators and event planners where they have paid me for the value that I'm bringing to the marketplace. You are dressed up in a pinstripe suit, but you're not getting paid. You just basically showcasing your value for free. So I think with event coordinators and event planners today, everything is shifting right now, where they're looking at what type of value can you bring to my audience, and can my tribe leave with a sense of certainty that they're going to take this brand that I'm representing to the next level. So I guess it comes down to what you're comfortable with in your own skin, whether you want to dress up in a suit or if you want to dress up in casual wear. But as long as you can bring value to that marketplace, I think that's what the event coordinators and event planners are going to hire you based on. They hire you for who you are as well as what you say.
I agree 100%. And there's people I've heard and I've seen, and you have to dress reflective to your brand and you nailed it. Be comfortable in your own skin. Like I was saying, I'm more comfortable. Like, I have two different modes. I'm either like this or it's sandals and board shorts and we're on the boat swimming, hot tub, something like that. I love water and that type of things. I'm just as comfortable, and I talk the same no matter what, if you're asking me these type of questions. And that, I would say, is the secret decoder ring, because you can wear the fancy clothes. I've seen people do them, and I'm all excited to hear them speak, and then they open their mouth and they ruin it. And then there's other people who, like you're saying, they can be in jeans or whatever, and that's great. I've heard a lot of great presenters that way. I go for the content, but you're ultimately going to reveal yourself regardless of what you're wearing. But I have heard of some people, they go, wow, they're a great speaker, but I couldn't get past, just the clothes. Because some people, you're first class brand, but you're not reflecting it with your marketing, your brand colors, or your outfits. Okay. Conversely, there's other people that no one was expecting it to be a good speaker, and they're up here. So I think you have to match it. It doesn't matter what you wear, and I keep saying costume, because when you go on the news and the media and different things, you want to have an appropriate costume. If you're a doctor, for sure wear that. Don't show up in overalls carrying a hammer if you're a doctor. It just, you want to make it easy for the audience to connect with you. And there's nothing wrong with the hammer or the doctor. It's just a matter of your goal as presenting. You want to bring that value and impact lives. You don't want to be putting up walls before you start. So I tend to gravitate towards whatever's going to get people listening easier and more open the quickest. So be it, with it, as long as it's legal, moral, and ethical.
Definitely. And, just to kind of build on what both of you guys shared right now, what I noticed is certain times as a person, I can feel a little more confident, my chest sticks out a little better in certain clothes, in a certain appearance. And for me, that tends to pull towards more of, like the business professional, super clean slacks and shoes and things like that. So I think that's also something where for the person, however that person is affected to improve their confidence for that situation, I guess, is best, right? And that kind of leads me to that, how important is, confidence in, this type of a arena, and what have you done to, build a level of confidence that you have right now? That it's definitely something that's strong and definitely shows.
Be yourself. I know it's kicking it back to elementary school and middle school, oh, she should like you if you're just yourself. And it's like, yeah, well, that's not working too well. I was looking for some better advice than that. But truly, when you're incongruent, if you're trying to be something you're not, you can put on the clothes, even the marketing. I just said, most brands don't have the marketing on point, the brand, the clothes, and how they speak. Ultimately, once you speak, you're going to reveal yourself, and people are going to figure it out in a split second. So if you're trying to be something you're not, even if you've tricked them the first 3 out of 4 steps, the second you talk to them, they're going to see it. Conversely, if you look like you don't know what you're talking about and you really do, you're doing yourself a disservice, because they would have listened to you a month ago when they were checking you out before you even talked. And somehow maybe you had enough referrals and people promoting you saying, no, I know the branding's not that great, but you really should talk to him or her. And then they talk to you and they change their perception. Again, you want it to be something, again, that's easy. Wouldn't you rather be having fun instead of going, oh, should I say this? Should I say that? Wherever you're comfortable just coming off the cuff, lead with that. And go, I tell my clients all the time, they're like, what about the funnel? What about this? What about that? I go, okay, you want clients? Think of people you can help, explain how you can help them, and name a price. Most of what I do is pen and paper. The other stuff, it's refining it and finessing it. But you don't need all of this just to make some tremendous progress and transformation and profit.
Wow. That's strong. And go ahead, Arthur. I'm hogging too many questions.
Well, I mean, you're right. That's absolutely true. And you had to emphasize to your clients that care about your customers more than you care about your product. There's so many people that get caught up into the product. I want to promote a nice product, and there's nothing wrong with providing value with your product. But if you don't care about your customers, then guess what? You're not going to make any kind of money anyway. Because once people feel that energy, like you only want to extract currency for your product, but you don't really have genuine care about you want your customers to succeed, then guess what? They feel that energy and they say, you know what? I don't want to be bothered with your brand, because the only thing you about is abstracting instead of exchanging value with me. Because happy customers are loyal customers. They keep coming back to you wanting your product or your service. But now a lot of people is just with this shiny syndrome where they're like, oh, this person over here is making millions of dollars. I'm going to go over here. And then another person come on the scene on social media. Oh, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go over here. You're just getting pulled from so many different angles. But I say, whoever you want to learn from, whether it's podcasting, whether it's building a business, whether it's real estate, stocks, bonds, whether it's buying businesses, scaling businesses, look where you want to become, and then learn from the person where they had the lifestyle that you want to emulate. Now, it's not 9 times out of 10, if you are wanting to be a hectomillionaire, you're not going to do it the exact same formula the way that hectomillionaire did. But you can take golden nuggets from the hectomillionaire and say, okay, well, they did it this way. I'm going to follow the same formula, but I may do it in a different way where my formula may work. Maybe not exactly like his or hers, but I'm going to do it to the T where this is going to work as long as I'm an implementer. As long as you're executing, the sky's the limit. You can only go up. But if you don't execute, then you'll never learn. You will never know that what you could have became if you would have followed that coach's advice. Mario, you dropping some real golden nuggets to me and the audience. I really appreciate it because you are the real deal. And to everyone that's watching us right now, Mario is the real deal. He can show you step by step on how you can actually get your message out in a professional way. And he is a real entrepreneur. He's not a bullshit entrepreneur. That's one thing I don't like dealing with is bullshit entrepreneurs. And I'm telling you right now that y'all need to follow Mario because he is the real deal. Mario, let's talk about the power of being an entrepreneur. Now, the word entrepreneur means entreprendre, and it was a Latin word, and it was invented in the 15th century in France. And a gentleman by the name of John Baptist, he invented the word, and over 300 years later, that word still exists, which is entrepreneur. So entre means between, and pondre means to take. So it means to take lower productivity and increase it to higher productivity. Can you explain to the audience, how are you increasing your productivity in your businesses?
I love the backstory on that. Thank you for sharing. I actually did not know that. That's very interesting, and I want to look more into it. But you nailed it with the taking a lower yield and making it into a higher yield. I have said to people when I'm working on copywriting and messaging, going, what is this program about? I mean, realistically, we're taking thin air going, here's your idea. And now 8 weeks later, it's a show, it's a book, it's whatever you want it to be. How do you do that? The creativity, the innovation, you need that stuff in there. We were talking about the systems and the scheduling. You need to be able to stay focused. I would say the biggest killer for most entrepreneurs is they have these ideas, they have these dreams, but they take too friggin' long getting them out there. I teach people how to publish their book from zero to fully published with a training course in 8 weeks. There's people that take 6 months or 12 months to do it. How can you do that? So to your point, Arthur, how do I get more productivity? Time leveraging. Time leveraging. Everyone has the same 168 hours a day. Now, something I talk about on my show is an app called Rescue Time. If you go to eainterviews.com/rescue time, you can put it on your browser. You can put it on your tablet, your phone. I just got some notifications prior to the interview, and it tells me, hey, you're on your financial goal for the week. You're on your sales goal. You're on your whatever goal. Well, where do you get the goals from? You create them. You can put them in there yourself. I don't want to have to sit here keeping track of me while I'm doing other things. But I do want to be productive and go, hey, am I making progress? So in week 1, module 1 of my training, I tell everyone to install it and then forget about it. And then week 2, we come back, I go, all right, let's check our stats. They're like, what stats? Because it's fun to go, holy smokes, that's what I really did. And these are all ultra high successful people who think they're productive and they're getting these like 50 and 60 scores going, I'm wasting that much time. and I tease and joke around with it because, like I said, I like to have fun. But at the end of the day, it's an eye opener to go, holy smokes, I can be more productive. So to leverage what you're doing is to first and foremost be clear with what you want to accomplish, and then simply go, am I on track for it? Don't deceive yourself. If you go, I want to write a book and I want to do it in 6 months, if you're trying to do it on your own, after 30 days, where are you? If you have little milestones, you can track that. And even if it takes you 6 to 12 months, that's still a great goal. But so many people throw an idea out, they start with it, and they never finish it. Again, it's not going through the ups and downs, because once you're doing it and committed, you're going to accomplish it. Most people get stopped when they start because they don't know what they're doing. So the best way to be productive and strategic and get the most outcome from what you're doing is just being clear with your goals and making little consistent efforts daily. And then I micro niche them down. Like I was saying, I'll block off the interview time, 3, 4, 5, take a break for 6 to 7, 7, 8, 9. But even within that, how do I even maximize that hour? One of the things I've taught in my trainings for years, how do you start off your day? Most people run right into it. I got all this stuff to do. Well, if we were to look at it, the 80-20 rule states that 80% of it is pretty much useless. So not only do I go, what is, this interview, my team can't do it. Only I can. They're working on other stuff right now. But that also means I'm not killing 10 to 12 hours of my day doing stuff that other people can be doing and miss out on this opportunity. Speaking from stage, going on camera, writing sales copy, following up with your clients, doing more above and beyond that they don't expect. One of the biggest compliments I had when I launched one of my softwares a few years ago was when I followed up on the phone with people. I legit just wanted to talk to them. And again, some of this stuff has just been normal, everyday common sense for me. This wasn't a big, elaborate branding or strategic plan, but they're like, I'll never forget you reaching out on the phone. And I was like, this wasn't like some follow-up thing I was doing. I legit just wanted to know what they were thinking. And frankly, I was just trying to get more feedback that we could use. But I did care and I did want to know. So I reached out on the phone and they were like, oh my gosh, I've never had a software company call me before. I'm like, never really thought of myself as a software company. I just saw a problem and wanted to solve it. And some of those things that we were taught as kids, we've gotten so far away with technology and leveraging all this crap that how hard is it to actually just pick up the phone instead of send the text, or pick up the phone instead of do an email, or maybe say, hey, let's meet in person. Maybe you've connected with someone online. You've never met them in your life, but you've known them for years. So I've been more conscious this last year and a half to go, hey, at the very least, let's get on a phone call. I'm not telling someone to fly around the world, but maybe at least pick up the phone and have a conversation. How many people do you know that you're connected to, that you know of, but you've never actually talked to?
Wow. That makes a lot of sense.
Start a show and have them on it. That's a great way to connect too. But at the end of the day, there's no tech, no AI, no nothing will ever replace human connection. If there's one thing I could teach the kids I'll have in the future and grandkids and everyone listening, get good with people, because they'll always be around. The technology will always change. Focus on the psychology, not the technology.
Wow. That's real right there. That's real. And that's definitely something which you can feel the difference, definitely, right? When you're connecting with people on the, in the way that you're talking about, definitely you can feel that human connection. And, I think everybody to an extent, of course, as human beings have like a disingenuous radar kind of built in, right? And we feel it from other people, and likewise, they can feel it from us if we're kind of emitting the, not the purest of intentions and rays. So that's definitely an excellent thing that, you brought attention to. And, a lot of the things that you speak about require a certain level of consciousness and attentiveness, to the moment. Are there any exercises that you do, mentally meditating or anything to kind of bring yourself to this level of awareness?
That's a great question. I pray every day. and I show gratitude every day. And even, you can hear me, Arthur, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. You're
That's
saying
why I put
thumbs
the
up.
thumbs up when you say I
Okay.
pray every day, because that's what I do.
Absolutely. There's nothing stronger and there's nothing more real. And no matter if you're having a good day or bad day, you know what? It's going to be okay. If you're alive to be having a bad day, praise God. If it's a good day, count yourself, blessed, because not everyone does, but it really does start with your mindset. I wake up and I go, I'm going to have a good day. Today I'm grateful and thankful for, and then, what I'm grateful and thankful for. At night, also thankful. And if you look at my Facebook, you'll see the 1111 thing, the angel numbers, and some people are like, oh, whatever. Everyone has their own take on it, and mine is, I'm appreciative. It's a cool thing people can relate to, but you can be grateful more than 2 times a day. Just saying. Some people think it's like attached to some number or something. No, it's attached to you. Celebrate all wins. One of the best things I could tell anyone that I learned in 2010 was celebrate all wins. A lot of people think you need to launch a podcast, launch a video show, launch a book just to have a good month or good year. It's like, I woke up and had 14 things I wanted to accomplish. It's 2:30 in the afternoon and 12 of them are done. I'm kind of killing it today, and realize that. For so many years, I had trophies and awards and stuff I won on the shelf right next to me. And I looked at it one time and even made a post about it. And I go, what if we focused on all the achievements we've made instead of the disappointments? Because this is me. I'd get off stage, get an award, just published another book, helped another 1,000 people, all kinds of good stuff. But what was I focused on? Truly, I forgot to do the one email to the one thing that really truthfully doesn't matter. And that thing would be outweigh all the rest. And everyone else was looking, going, how do you do all this stuff? And right now I can say confidently that's not the case, but I've gotten these similar questions for years of, how do you do this? How do you do that? And I knew the answers, but mentally I was focused on this BS over here that makes no iota of a difference. And I was playing the game of, I'm trying to do more than the next person. And it's like, don't do more, be more. You don't need 24 hours a day of grinding to the bone. I hate that. Stop the glorification of busy. If you work 2 hours a day and you get more done than most people in a week, that's how the ultra successful people I know, that's how they're doing it. They're not sitting there killing themselves 24 hours a day. They're doing what they need to. They're very clear on what they can do, like the interviews, the PR, maybe it's writing the book, maybe it's coming on video. And then they build teams of people to help them, not staff. Putting that out there, not staff, not someone who works for you, their team.
That's powerful.
Definitely.
Do more, be more. And once you can do more, be more, you can achieve more. I like that. I definitely like that, Mario. You are blessed, Mario. You truly are blessed. And God put you on this planet for a purpose. And without purpose, you have no focus. But you're definitely focused, and the world needs you. And you're educating people on how to basically create their own baby, which is their own intellectual property, where they can actually, publish their first book. Now, you published your book, and it's a phenomenal book, and I love the title of your book. So would you say that your book is your business card?
I would first like to say I'm my business card, because if you can't start it with you, no book, no video, no podcast is going to make a difference. You have to know what it is you, but absolutely the business card for your business should be a book, because statistically someone will keep a book for like upwards of 2 years, and that's for soft cover, versus about 2 days with a business card. Now, when you do hardcover, it's even longer. People like real gifts. We went from giving gifts and stuff in real life to connecting to there's too much of that and not enough time. We got the internet, and now we can leverage the heck out of a global economy, but we forgot there's still people behind it. When you give someone a book, whether you go, hey, I appreciate you, I want to give this as a gift to you, thank you, they're blown away by it, whether it's soft cover or hardcover. It's way more powerful. Even the root word of author is authority. You're in a different light. You're in a different perception.
And one thing about your intellectual property, one thing about a book, especially when you're at a business convention or a networking event or a seminar, when you give that entrepreneur, whether it's a man or a woman or entrepreneurial group, your business card, they may throw that away or may not even use it. But if you give someone a book, they definitely going to take that home and read it. And they ain't definitely not going to throw that book away. So your intellectual property in regards to your book, that is very powerful because it makes you stand out as an authority figure.
And that makes me, think about a quote, which I don't know if it was Napoleon Hill or someone, I can't recall exactly where he said, and this always made me want to write a book as well. He said that writing a book, the person who benefits the most from writing a book is the author, the person who wrote it. I mean, I know so many books others benefit from too, but to speak on that, Mario, how, in your experience and also your client's experience, how does writing a book, from going from idea to, completed published book, successful book, at least a certain amount of people are reading it and, connecting with it, how has that affected you and, your clients as well? What kind of experiences have you seen and been through?
There have been numerous ones. One of my favorite stories is with a client of mine I met on a plane when I was frazzled and I wasn't polished. I was speaking in San Diego, coming back, and my phone was about to die, and I was looking for a charger on the plane. And I was all over the place, straight up. I was not, yes, we're going to walk this way. Thank you for coming to the restaurant. I was a mess. But I was still friendly. I wasn't angry. I wasn't upset. And I just start talking to this woman and, oh, what are you doing here? Turns out her brother was on American Idol. She was flying back from filming that with them. Pretty cool. She goes, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I was just speaking and, at this event on video marketing. And I know she could tell because I was so put together. And she's like, oh, you published a book? I go, yeah. And I kind of just grabbed it to show her. And she's like, do you mind if I read it? And I'm like, whatever. Yeah, cool. If, I can get back to what I was doing. And it was the most interesting thing because this is while the plane's taking off. And it was a night flight. So we weren't talking a ton. We weren't chatting each other up a whole lot. And then like an hour later, she does that thing where you tap the shoulder and she's like, this is great. It's so great getting to know you. And she goes back to reading it. I'm like, we talked for a minute and a half. So what I'll say, I've experienced it with my books and my clients. Some of the best stories are with my clients also, who they were able to take off their mask and be vulnerable. And one of them, Lori, I'm thinking of, she has a compelling story. And the name of the book is Taking My Hand Out of My Pocket. I absolutely love her. She has I'm not going to get the book, read it. She has a compelling story. And she inspires me. I'd like to think I'm positive, but she's even more positive. And she was telling me she lived with something for over 35 years and no one knew until we published her book. She goes, I feel so free now because so many times we have a story we want to showcase, we want to share. But maybe it's not just for business. Maybe it's not just you want to share it to get a message out, but maybe it's to release a burden that you've been carrying with you. And when you let go of that, again, let go and let God, your message flows easier. Again, like I was saying, I might get 4 more trophies, awards here, this, that, the other thing, but I'm focused on that. Out of the 99 cool things, I'm focused on the one stupid thing. And I think a lot of people are walking around with stuff that doesn't matter, that no one knows, but they know. And it's engulfing 99% of their life when they should just release it because they have another 100 capacity for some real talent and ability that people need to hear about. So not only does it make you a better communicator, it makes you, you're able to share more. I mean, you will be vulnerable writing it, but once you're able to do it, doing interviews, speaking one-on-one, presenting, all this stuff becomes easier because it gets you clear on your message. So yeah, you can say you're the authority and it's a business card and all these things that are very cerebral and logical, but from the emotional side, it will transform your life and the ripple effect of the thousands and millions down the road. So we got the logical, we got the emotional, and I'm right in between with the heart centric, but let's get stuff done and make a profit with it, not completely woo woo. But here's the cool thing. Let's talk about the time compounding and leverage. So you're doing 20 meetings a week, half-hour drive there, half-hour drive back, get ready, all that stuff. It's arguably even a 45-minute meeting. You're easily round tripping it 3, 4, maybe 5 hours, right? 20 of those a week. When we want to look at straight time versus ROI from strictly business financial numbers, you can get 100 copies of a book and just give them to people. They read it. They're predetermined. Now when they come to you, whether it's this week, next month, or next year, doesn't really matter. You just saved yourself how many hours? And here's the thing, even at the top of my game, well, actually, I'm at the top of my game now. What I thought was the top of my game then, I went to 19 different networking events in 6 weeks, and it was like nonstop communicating, connecting with people left and right. I still can't get past 24 hours a day physically. I can purchase 1,000 copies of my book and give them out and have an entire year's, actually more than an entire year's output from one order for free.
That's really, that's a whole nother way of thinking. It's totally a different, and like you said, at the end of the day, you're the one who's really bringing, a better, stronger person to the marketplace after going through something like that. So that just inspires me even more to, keep writing. I just write little articles now just because I enjoy it, but eventually I'll get stronger with that, and then hopefully one day, connect on that, and hopefully connect with you on that process. I'll definitely look forward to that.
Mario, like I said earlier, and I told you this before, you are a blessing from God. And me and you are on the same mission because I believe in God wholeheartedly. And you got to have God in your heart, your soul, your spirit, and in your business. And pray every day. I pray in the morning and before I go to bed at night. I want to see another beautiful day. And the lives I have touched, I want them to see another beautiful day as well. So you definitely got to have God in your life if you want to excel to the next level. Mario, I wrote down some powerful words, 10 being the highest and 1 being the lowest. So you can rate them in your own powerful way. Are you ready?
Absolutely, I am.
Accountability.
10.
Perseverance.
Like 14.
Leverage.
Strong 11.
Speed of implementation.
Equally 14, 13. It's up there.
Family.
38.
Love.
38.
God.
100%.
Health.
99.
Wealth.
That's a loaded definition. 20.
Building great relationships.
14.
Value.
30 to 40.
Integrity.
52.
Success.
Loaded word. Let's go with 8.
Former President Barack Obama.
10.
Donald Trump.
10.
Legacy.
54.
Purpose.
95.
Focus.
14.
Abundance.
12.
Benefactor.
12.
All right, that was good. That was real good, Mario. Can you explain to the audience exactly where they can find you?
The best place to find me is eainterviews.com.
To everyone that's listening, go to eainterviews.com. Mario has incredible content that could take your mindset and your business to the next level. But remember, you have to implement what you learn. Knowledge is not power. The implementation of knowledge, that's what makes it become powerful. So the wisdom that you just heard on this show, follow the blueprints of what Mario has shared with you, because Mario is the real deal. And I am very, very honored that God has gotten into him. But he reached out to me and I conveyed value on his show, and now he's conveying value on my show. So this is truly an honor. And this is what I'm talking about. Leaders always like to connect with leaders. It doesn't matter if you are starting a business or you're a millionaire, you're a decamillionaire, a hectomillionaire, or even a billionaire. Because guess what? People at the top, they love connecting with people that's in the middle. Always remember that. Mario, I had to ask you this question. What was the most important day of your life when you experienced financial freedom?
2 days, the day I was born and the day I figured out why.
All right. I like that answer. I like that answer. Mario, I appreciate you coming on our platform today, because the whole premise of this show is to educate entrepreneurs and business owners and business leaders that they can have the life that they truly desire, but they have to be open to these important principles. So I don't like what I see what's on the news, so we create our own news.
Absolutely. That's the whole reason I started my show. I've been telling people for years we need to bring back the good moral family values. There's too much crap out there. You know, let's dilute it and eliminate it with our good messages.
Wow. Mario, do you have any last pearls of wisdom for the audience?
If you're thinking about it more than once, you need to do it, because God gave you the seeds of greatness and it keeps coming up for a reason. Act on it.
Now, before we sign off, can you share with me and Jordan and the audience, can you tell us something that we may not know about Mario?
I used to model. I play alto and tenor sax, and I can say the alphabet backwards.
That's strong. A lot of hidden talents. That's strong.
That is strong. A lot of people can say
ZYXWVUTSRQPONMLKJIHGFEDCBA.
Bro,
wow.
That was quick.
You nailed it, Mario.
That's the creative side of me. I'm not sure how it works for business, but you got to have fun. If you're just sitting there staring at spreadsheets all the time going, I can save 1/10 of 1,000%. That's all well and good. I'm sure the boss is happy, but not many people want to have fun, and they want to relate to people and be part of a community. You know, have fun with it. You can do all of it.
And again, I just want to, thank you again, Mario, because it's really a privilege for me to be connected, with Arthur, because Arthur is an extremely, successful, powerful entrepreneur out there in the marketplace. And he's connecting me directly with individuals such as yourself. So it's really a privilege to connect with, you on the level that you're playing, and to be able to learn from, all the skills that you've picked up. And, definitely it was a powerful message that you shared with, from everything from all the skills and, putting that importance on being connected to God, most of all, which is a reminder I think we can all use, every day. So definitely, thank you again. And it's been excellent connecting with you, and look forward to connecting with you again in the future.
Yeah, Jordan, the pleasure is mine. I love meeting great people. And, I knew you knew Art, and he only associates with good people, but this isn't what I do. This is who I am. And this is easy and effortless for me. So, I mean, I could literally do this all day long, and I'm thankful for the opportunity to be able to do so.
Wow. Mario, I got to get you coming back on the show for the second time so we can get more in depth about wealth building principles and about the speed of implementation. I would love to have you back on the platform for the second time.
Yeah, that would be a good one because so many people, they go, I want to do a book, a show, a podcast, heck, even just get my first 100 clients. And you can do that in 1 year, 2 years, or 5 years. You're still going to reach your goal, but when you know how, when you can take an idea or learn something today, implement it tomorrow, and have results a few weeks, a month or two later, that's vast. You're playing at a different level than I'm going to do it at some point eventually. By all means, do it at some point eventually and start out there if that's what it takes, but just realize, I tell people all the time, don't get stuck in startup mode. There's a difference from I'm in startup mode to I'm out of beta phase and I'm moving forward to how do I really get into this high performance? Every single car has an engine, but how come some, to get at the highest levels and break that 200-mile-an-hour barrier, you need to have every little thing fine-tuned and dialed in. Most people flat out, they're capable of it. They just don't want to put in the effort because it takes longer. Well, life's going on either way. So why would you, one of my favorite quotes, I'm not sure who it was from. I'm picturing the picture of, the valley and everything and the skyline, but it says, don't live the same year 75 times and call it a life.
You nailed it with that quote right there, Mario. You see, I bring the best of the best on the show. That's why I asked Mario, can he actually do this for me? And I'm glad he was available to deliver this phenomenal outside-the-box content. Mario is value. Value is around you everywhere you go. So, to everyone that is watching us right now, follow Mario. You can connect with him on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. And remember, Facebook owns Instagram. And all these platforms are active communities. And active communities involve who? People. People build businesses. The businesses don't build the people. All right? So to everyone that's listening, follow Mario, Google him, and I promise you, he has good reviews from his interviews. He is a thorough, successful businessman. Follow him, and I promise you will not be disappointed. And go to his website. He has incredible content that will take your mindset or reprogram your mindset to a whole nother level. So to everyone that's watching us right now, remember that the strongest asset each and every one of you have is your brain, and what you think about and what you take action on, that will become your reality, and your mentality creates your reality. May God bless each and every one of you, and bye for now. Thank you, Mario.